Why be easy when you can just die? Woo! Woo! I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, but more specifically, welcome to another Chewy Mew video, where today we're going to be taking a look at another figure from my collection that I got several years ago, probably in like 2000, maybe 7 or 8. I got it at a yard sale, and that is the ToyBiz Marvel Legends Series 1 Iron Man. This is the yellow and red non-metallic version without like the horns on the helmet. I kind of prefer this look of this design. So also, disclaimer, I'm not a big fan of Iron Man or basically anybody else except Spider-Man from Marvel. Basically, when it comes to comic book characters, the only one I really like and care about is like Spider-Man and the 70s Superman movies, most of them. But yeah, so I got this figure along with Captain America, Hulk, and Wolverine at a yard sale. Like maybe 2008 or 9, I'm not too sure. I don't quite remember when I got them. I definitely 100% didn't get them new. So I want to say it was like maybe 2007 or 8. I don't know, but either way, I got them at a yard sale because they were like probably $1 or 50 cents each. You know, back in my day, when there actually were yard sales and stuff, there's not yard sales anymore, especially because, you know, COVID. So, you know, yard sales are not really the most sanitary thing anyway, but yard sale stuff now is probably not cheap. But as a kid, you could probably get like a bag of Power Rangers for like probably $5 or something. I don't know about how they are nowadays, but yeah, so they'll get these figures, and they were really cheap, and they look cool. At the time of like a 7-year-old, you're not thinking, oh, I want to get them because they look cool and because they're good figures. It's more a matter of, oh, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, I kind of know about the characters. They look cool. I'm going to buy them. Wolverine was the only one I really knew that good, and Hulk. I didn't know anything about Iron Man because I think it was before 2008. Because I don't think the MCU definitely didn't exist at all when I got this. 2006, I don't know. I don't know. Either way, regardless, it looks pretty cool. Take a look at the face here. I think the face looks pretty cool. He's just got the, oops, whoa, matte face reveal. No, we're not going to look at the face yet. It does look cool, though. You can see he's got, like, the black in the eyes. I always liked Iron Man's armors that were like this, that just, it didn't look like super futuristic and very tech. It basically just looks like a guy with huge muscles and stuff, and then gloves, boots, and like a torso. It doesn't really look so much like a man in a suit of armor. It just looks more like a really like ripped guy, basically, like a bodybuilder body, in like armor kind of, or like wearing gloves. Basically, just looks like bare arms and legs, and then just wearing a helmet, like some kind of like a one-piece, like a leotard, gloves, and then boots. I always like this design here. I'm not a big fan of like the super futuristic kind of like very tech robotic kind of look. I like this one that just looks like I said, a guy in like a leotard with like, I guess, yellow skin or something. And it looks pretty cool. You have like the ear thing here sculpted. It's hard to see on the camera, or maybe it is. Maybe it's hard to see. It's hard to see because it's super like oversaturated, but he does have kind of see it here. If you look at this color of his shoulder and then you look at the color of his arm, you can see. Oh, he also has a hole there because this arm broke, so I had to fix it and stuff. It broke when I found it. There's a video I made where I found this and the other figures in a box in my attic. And at the time, I didn't notice that this butterfly joint here was broken, so it doesn't work. It's supposed to work like this. It only goes forward, though, so you can do, like, repulsor stuff. And then he didn't have the bicep swivel was also broken, and I tried fixing it recently using the brushes that I used to fix arms. And it didn't work just because the way his arms are structured. So I just super glue it on. That's unfortunate, though, but it's okay. I might later try to find a way to fix it, but that's beside the point. What is the point is that his yellow is like a very like flat kind of yellow look, and then they added this, it looks super bright. Like if you look at the leg here, the way the leg looks right here, and then if we move it here, you kind of see like a color shift. His hand is in the way, dude. Okay. Once we turn on the flash, it's hard to see it, but right here it has a yellow, and then when you move it, you can see it looks darker right here. You can see like right there. It's hard to see it in the camera. In real life, it's more noticeable. And then the red doesn't, I can't seem to tell if the red has any wash to it, or like any sort of like shading. The chest does have it. Like it's this sort of metallic, like if you look at his hand here, the red is like very much like a red gloss red, and then this is like a metallic look to it. The other versions of it, like the one that is the gold instead of yellow, that one is very clearly have different, like, it has shading to it that's more obvious. This one, not quite as obvious, but I think it looks pretty cool still. The bottom of the foot here says 2002 Marvel Entertainment. This one says Made in China. So I also, spoilers, I don't have any of the accessories or the comic book he comes with. But that's kind of fine. It was like a little looks like a satellite thing that says Stark on it. And considering this is a Spider-Man, completely Spider-Man dominated collection, having something that says like Stark on it just wouldn't fit at all. It wouldn't fit here, you know. Also, I'm gonna put this guy away in a box. I've also made a video before this. Depending when I upload this, you're already gonna see these bulk reviews before you see that video, where I basically just pretty much put away figures that I don't really want to have on display, or just want to put them away for various reasons, or to make room, stuff like that. This guy and all the other Avengers figures, all the non-Spider-Man Marvel characters, basically just Spider-Man and Sailor Moon is all that's left on shelves now after this. And Sailor Moon has like her own shelf, so that's pretty cool. The legs are a bit loose going this way, like going like that way. This one's a bit loose. It doesn't flop down, it's loose like right, like from here to there it's loose, like, yeah, like right there, that's loose. But either way, take the mask off here. We get a face of Tony Stark here. I kind of like this way. I think like the alternate head is cool as well, like what Hasbro does. This looks pretty cool. Very nicely painted face. Pretty cool mustache here. It looks really good, you know? And this is all a red piece of plastic, so they had to paint the face. They painted the face, so all the colors here, it's molded in red plastic, so they had to paint all the details here, which it looks pretty cool. I like it. It looks very stylized. It looks like a comic book face. It doesn't look like a realistic human being. It does look like a human being, but it looks like a what I'm trying to say here. It looks like a comic book character if it was a figure, which I feel like that's what ToyBiz did. They basically made comic books. Like if comic books were like, if you could have a three-dimensional comic book character, that's what it would be. But it looks pretty cool, and he's also pretty big as well. Compare him to Sinister Six Spider-Man here. It was not that huge. He's a bit taller than Sinister Six Spider-Man, so that's pretty cool. If you take off the face here, their faces are close to the same size. Like yeah, their faces are the same size, so it does kind of look like if Iron Man was, like if this was actually Tony Stark's face, and then you put the faceplate on it. The problem is, they actually did sculpt the inside a little bit. It's not quite matching his face. It does match the face, actually. You can see like his mustache and his nose there. That's pretty cool. When you put it on, if you shake it, it eventually falls off. So what I do is I just squeeze it like this. I squeeze it together, and then when you put it on, it like pinches really tight on the face, so that way it doesn't come off as easily. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that aside, let's take a look at the articulation here. So the head doesn't really look up much. He looks down a little bit and pivot side to side. Basically all you get is like, you get a little bit of head movement, rotation, all the way around. You get slight pivot here. And then the shoulders go all the way up. Unfortunately, this one is broken, but he does have a bicep swivel here. And then he has an armpit joint, which I feel like the best, or not armpit, like a butterfly joint, pseudo butterfly joint, is that you can do something like this. You can have them like at an angle shooting to the sides. Also, fun fact, no Hasbro figures have butterfly joints. And I feel like, or no Hasbro Iron Man figures have butterfly joints. And I feel like for this one, the butterfly joints are pretty hidden well with these big cuffs. It does look kind of weird that he has like those huge cuffs, but it lends itself well to the suit. If this was like a non-Iron Man character, like they reuse this for Magneto just with a couple changes here and there. They did reuse most of the body for Magneto. Having these huge cuffs on the shoulders looks weird. You get a perfect elbow bend in the elbow. You get a rotation here in the wrist. You get a hinge in the wrist as well. Very good hinge. Then you can bend the fingers out like that. You can bend them in. You can't really make a fist, so they're mostly going to be like probably in the repulsor kind of shooting pose like that. As far as the torso, unfortunately, this top joint doesn't work at all, and it's not like mine is broken or something. None of these joints, I've seen other reviews, none of them work here. You do have a ball joint in the waist, which allows it to move back like a decent amount, and he goes forward. You got to be kind of tight with it, and then he goes forward barely, and then it's mostly just pretty much just a rotation. You can pivot. Oh, now it moves a bit more. You can pivot side to side like this. You lean forward, not much. Pretty much all you do is like you lean back, you tilt side to side, and then you rotate. So that's pretty good. The legs kick up all the way. This one is a bit loose, so you see it flops down. You can't do the full split. He could do the full splits if these weren't here. You get a thigh rotation here. You get a decent double bend in the knee. Not really good, but not as good as the elbow joints, but still pretty good. Then you get a boot cut here. Then you get an ankle pivot. On Series 1 ToyBiz figures, or Series 1 Marvel Legends in 2002, had ankle pivot. Did that say 2001? No, 2002. This one had ankle pivot. His legs are loose from being played with, but you do have ankle pivot on these guys. The foot goes all the way forward, all the way back, and you have a toe joint. That's pretty cool. Yes, articulation on this guy is pretty good, especially for ToyBiz Season 1. Like, they already had ankle pivot and butterfly joint at this point, and then they already had basically import style, like, torso articulation. It doesn't work, the torso part doesn't work as the way they sculpted the plastic, but the bottom one is basically like the import style, like Mayfec Spider-Man diaper kind of joint. That's pretty much what this piece here is. And Hasbro hasn't figured that out, at least with Marvel Legends. I think G.I. Joe has that, I don't know. By the way, Hasbro G.I. Joe figures are a lot better than Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends are just super articulated Happy Meal toys. G.I. Joe figures are actually action figures. But that beside the point, that leg being loose is a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all of this figure. Let me know what you think about this figure, and I'll see you guys in the next review.